Where's all the people that were supposed to be here? Where's the savage? Just oh, I heard you. That means in the corn. I'm sure they'll say that's what. I'm going to grab an agenda. Do you want one? Yes, please. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here. On the table. She rears her head. A little bit. Yes. Hi, June. How's it going?
of Supervisors and Board of Trustees for Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Ken, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for quorum?
Trustee Braxton.
Here.
Trustee Ransom.
Here.
Trustee Savage.
Here.
Trustee Townsend. Here. Supervisor Marshall.
Here. I entertain a motion to approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda. I'll second.
Any discussion, additions, or subtractions? If not, I'll do that under the public comment section. Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton. Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting of January 16th. We're separating the two.
So moved.
Have you seen the minutes of the January 16th? Any questions on it? If not, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton. Aye. Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. Next, the special meeting of January 24th, 2024. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second. Any comments or additions or anything to those minutes? If not, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Marshall.
Aye. Under public comments, we're going to split that up into two parts. If you have any comments about the agenda or the thing that does not have anything to do with the resolution, we'll hear those now. As far as comments or anything on the resolution, we will open it up at the time we discuss the resolution, those comments. So if anyone has any comments or that they wish to have right now that does not pertain to resolution 24-03, please step up to the podium. Okay. So, well, everybody's thinking of. All right, so next. There's no comments other than the resolution, supervisor's report. Two things on it. If you look at this, we've been talking about the roof of the gazebo, and it needs to be replaced, and we got quotes on from some roofers, but they always were trying to specify just regular asphalt shingles, and we don't want asphalt shingles. What we have here is an example of some shingles that will actually match what we have there, except they're not wood, they're composite and everything. And they come in a dozen different colors. We're not going to be doing anything on it today, but they're quite expensive. So take a look at it, and we have one quote on it, but we need to get two more quotes for the shingles. So if you afterwards take a look at it and see what you think, and also the literature. The second thing that we passed out is a draft of the 2024 to 2025 budget for the township. And this is just a draft. We haven't been going over it here, but go over it and see what, in preparation, we'll be calling a budget meeting at some time. And so you have it well in advance and you can take a look at what's involved in it. So then, with without action items. First, we're going to have a discussion and possible approval of resolution 24-03, which is a ceasefire resolution. I'd like to have the clerk read the resolution.
DuPage Township Resolution 2403. Resolution calling for a permanent and immediate ceasefire in Gaza, Israel, and Palestine. Whereas over 25,000 people have been killed by Israeli military action in Gaza since October 7th attack carried out by Hamas, which resulted in the deaths of 1,200 people. And whereas we mourn all civilian lives lost on, since, and before October 7th, and whereas we condemn all forms of racism, colonization, anti-Semitism, ethnic cleansing, genocide, Islamophobia, and collective punishment that may occur or have occurred in our township, across the nation, and around the world. And whereas hundreds of thousands of lives will continue to be at risk if a ceasefire is not achieved and humanitarian aid is not delivered without delay. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the DuPage Township Board that we condemn war crimes committed by Hamas in Israel, and be it further resolved that DuPage Township and its presiding board supports the proposed U.S. Congress resolution H.R. 786, urging an immediate ceasefire to urgently end the violence, a release of all hostages and prisoners, and promptly send and facilitate the entry of humanitarian assistance into Gaza and other affected areas of the armed conflict. Be it further resolved that we call upon President Joseph Biden to urge Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Congress to end the military campaign in Gaza and implement an immediate ceasefire for the protection of the Palestinian people. Finally, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution to be sent to the Illinois State Congressional Delegation and the United States President Joseph Biden, urging the administration to take immediate action.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay. Now, I will open up for any comments from the public on this resolution. We have a list of people who, Peter Kodak, okay, he's first.
My name is Peter Jose Rivera. Good evening. I stand before you as a member of our community and as a Jew, deeply grateful for the resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of all hostages. Those who have championed this resolution, your courage in advancing peace and justice, despite facing vicious personal attacks and political backlash, it embodies the spirit of leadership. It shouldn't cost you something to do right now. The devastation wrought by this conflict has cut me to the core. As an American and as a Jew, I am particularly anguished by the actions taken by the Israeli government with my tax dollars and carried out in my name. Occupation, ethnic cleansing, and deliberate killing of civilians opposes the very core values of my Judaism. Zionism, when it manifests as the creation of an ethnic state, diverges from the inclusive and compassionate Judaism I know in practice. No part of the planet belongs exclusively to one people at the expense of another. Advocating for a ceasefire and the safety of Palestinian civilians is a stand for humanity, not a cause for division or baseless accusations of anti-Semitism. It is a plea for humanity and compassion in a world too often divided by hatred and fear. My hope is that our collective voice here in Bolingbrook and DuPage Township will serve as a beacon to other communities across Chicagoland and beyond, especially in moments when our voices are being ignored in higher levels of government. Together, we can stand as a testament to the power of community and the enduring strength of our shared values. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next on our list is Linda Ellis.
But, excuse me, I didn't know that I'm more of the pantry issue is what I'd like to speak on, so
You don't want to speak on this, on the resolution?
no,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Okay. Next is Ken.
You have something else to speak about?
Ken John Ken James. Is he here?
I'm here.
Oh, you want to speak?
It's not on the resolution.
Oh, okay.
There must have been.
There is very clear, it said public comment.
Yes.
It's on the agenda. Those were earlier.
Yeah.
So when Linda
At
and
the beginning of the meeting.
spoken at that time, so.
If you want to speak up, I think after we go through this resolution, I will open up for public comments on anything else as far as that, so.
Thank you.
can Speak on that, okay? Catalina Rodriguez.
Good evening. My name is Catalina Rodriguez. I'm a resident here of Bolingbrook, and we thank you very much for giving people the forum to speak today. I also wanted to speak on behalf of the resolution that's put in place today and put in my full support for it, and also thank you for your committee for putting together a very strongly worded message. I think today in this day and age, we're not just seeing our news in the media, we're seeing our news in our phones and our social media, and we've gotten a glimpse of the reality that I think many people did not know about. And I think the importance of this issue is one that not only is important to us, to the residents here that are of Palestinian descent, but it should be something that's important to all of us here. We're a city that's very diverse, and we boast that always in many different forums, and I think because of this diversity, it makes us special, but in that sense, we also have an obligation to really look at the issues that matter to the constituents of your town. And I think in this resolution, you've really been able to address something that's very important and that should be important just on a human level, no matter what political party you're part of, is that there should be a ceasefire. We should be looking at saving more innocent lives instead of continuing to fund the genocide that's currently happening. I know that in this day and age, we tend to sort of believe a lot of the things that we've been taught, whether that's in school or things that we just don't know the realities of. But knowing truth now matters, and every single war that's happening in this world does matter, but in this specific situation and in this time, we cannot let this continue. We need to focus on the fact that there's war crimes happening every single day. People are dying, young children, babies, innocent women, men, children. I mean, it's beyond anything that I think any of us have ever thought could be happening. And I know that a lot of politicians want to say, well, this is war, and war happens. But this type of situation is no longer looked at as a war. This is a genocide. There's people there that do not have anything, no humanitarian aid. Everything's being blocked, and we all know the truth now. We all can see it with our eyes. And it's very important that as a city, we stand together to not only make these declarations that there needs to be a ceasefire, that we need to have humanitarian aid, but that we also show support for the Palestinian community that lives in this city and in the Chicagoland area. And I feel like Bolingbrook has taken strides to really be ahead and seeing how we should make these declarations and how they can be impactful on a federal level. And I think that what you should do today is pass this resolution and with strength show not only the message of what Bolingbrook stands for, but what Illinois stands for, and then hope that that message gets sent to the powers that be that make the decisions that continue to fund, and so that we are letting them know that we do not agree with our tax dollars being spent in this way. Thank you.
Next is Ruth Costello? What's that?
She said she's not scheduled to speak.
Someone signed you in. Okay, Don Costello? Oh, okay. Next is Ellie Dow.
Hi, good evening. My name is Pastor Elle Dowd, and I am a resident of Bolingbrook. I am also a pastor and a PhD student in theology, and I'm a mother. And all of those identities are reasons that I am here to voice my full support for the ceasefire resolution. Many of our community members have already spoken so eloquently about why this is so important, and this ceasefire is so important. But I think I also want to thank all of you for having moral courage in this moment to write so clearly about the need for the ceasefire. There are so many times throughout history that we look back and we wonder why someone didn't do anything, why people weren't stepping up to stop atrocities from happening. And I think that we will find in the coming years that this genocide against Palestinians is one of those things. And so I'm grateful that Bolingbrook, that all of you, that us in this community, we can say that we are trying to do things to stop this genocide, that we are saying we don't want these violations perpetrated in our name, that we do see and care about the God-given human dignity in every single person, that we can show solidarity with those who suffer, regardless of where they're from, or their background, or their religious views, but because it's the right thing to do. So again, thank you. I wanted to very clearly and wholeheartedly offer my support for the resolution and my gratitude for your moral courage.
Next on our list is Freya, and I can't, K-N-O-R-R.
Yes, hello, my name is Freya Nar. I came here to thank you guys for putting forth the ceasefire resolution. I know so many people have already called for a ceasefire, including, Bolingbrook, the Pope, the UN, and every time, one of these resolutions is scheduled, I always hope that, maybe it'll be the one that won't need to be passed, because there'll be a ceasefire already. But unfortunately, that's not where we're at right now, and every day goes by is just another day that the resolution is even more needed. So I do want to thank you guys so much for putting it forward, and I wanted to put forward my support for it. And I also did want to briefly say I do also support the food pantry, and I hope we can come to a solution that makes people happy. And I think that the current location is good, and we could find a way to deal with it. Thanks so much.
The next one I have is Kat Canor. Is that Kat?
Yes, that's right.
Hi, my name is Kat Narn. I'm a resident of Bolingbrook, DuPage Township, and I'm a mixed Palestinian American. I also work as the communications director for a Palestinian human rights advocacy organization based in Dayton. As a Palestinian American, I've watched genocide by people over these past over 4 months. Palestinian children who are dying from forced starvation, kids who have lost their entire families, children who received amputations without anesthesia, boys and men have been adopted and tortured in concentration camps by the Israeli military. This is a nightmare no person should ever have to endure. It is a nightmare. It is a scale of devastation even larger than the 1948 Nakba catastrophe, ethnic cleansing that my own Palestinian grandfather lived through in 1948. Palestinians in Gaza are urgently asking for a permanent ceasefire to save their lives, and yet our elected officials have dragged their feet at the cost of their lives. including today the U.S. government vetoing a ceasefire for the third time at the UN Security Council. And so, in such an environment, it is even more important for us as the people and for our local governments to raise our voices. As a U.S. federal judge recently said in a lawsuit against President Biden, it is every individual's obligation to confront the current siege in Gaza. That includes our local government and the DuPage Township Board. We have a voice, and it is vital to use that voice for human rights. Passing this resolution will send a strong message to our elected officials that we stand for a permanent ceasefire now for humanity and against this genocide. The genocide in Gaza is a local issue because our tax dollars, our federal tax dollars, are paying for it. Our tax dollars should be going to resources for our own community, such as housing, healthcare, and education, instead of destroying homes, hospitals, and schools in Gaza. In 4 months, Israel has wiped out Gaza's infrastructure and killed 36,000 Palestinians, including 14,000 children. And so I urge you to pass the ceasefire resolution today, and I thank you for taking a stand at this critical moment in history. Thank you.
That's the last person we have on the list, but is there anyone else? Okay.
I signed it over here.
Okay. Anyone? Okay. Anyone else after that?
Hi, my name is Sue Hardy. I'm a Bolingbrook resident as well as a resident of DuPage Township. I am here to voice my support, along with many others here, in support of the resolution that you put forth. I'd also like to just add to the things that have been said, in case there's any doubt of why it's important, and to eliminate the idea that it doesn't matter, but I say it does. There's several things that distinguish us from animals, and I'd like to talk about a few of those. One is, as humans, we have the ability to empathize if we choose to. And that means to just understand and put ourselves in someone else's shoes. And when there is misery and just complete, utter destruction, that's when we can step in as humans and go, oh, that's not right. That needs to stop no matter where it's coming from. Another thing is that we have the ability to think and to problem solve and to work together to make change. So I am very proud of you for considering this resolution and ask you to step up and continue with this with the courage to say yes, because this is problem solving that humans do to make change for everyone, not just our individual selves, but for everyone. So by signing this and making it official, you are part of the group of people standing up and saying, solve together. Think about others. And when we come together, others who don't have the courage start to have the courage. And together we can make a change. So yes, what you are doing here tonight is very important. Thank you.
My name is Hannah Fernandez, and I'm a resident of Bolingbrook, and a constituent of the township, and I'm Jewish. And I'm here tonight to voice my support for the Gaza ceasefire resolution. We continue to call on our government to stop this genocide, to stop Israel's Zionist campaign to kill, starve, and ethnically cleanse Palestinians, but they won't listen. Today, just today, the United States vetoed for the second time a ceasefire resolution at the UN. Our country is no longer just complicit in this genocide, we are the perpetrators, and our tax dollars are funding it. This is why we turn to you. Our local governments have the opportunity to rise above, pass resolutions like this that preserve humanity and international law, and catalyze a collective demand from municipalities across the country calling on Washington to do the right thing. heard multiple times, not just when we were pushing for Bolingbrook to pass a resolution like this, but even here tonight, people wondering why does it matter for our township to do this, and fears of precedent. And I think if there were ever a time that a local governing body would engage in global affairs, it would surely be violations of the international laws of war that are also the same laws intended to protect us, American citizens. If one person can violate those, what stops anyone else from violating them? We must do all that we can to preserve the sanctity of human rights locally and internationally. Human rights violations anywhere are violations everywhere. Finally, I want to condemn the board for prioritizing this resolution and speaking out against the oppression and killing of Palestinians. But I specifically want to commend Trustee Thompson for bringing this resolution forward and for standing on the right side of history. Standing on the right side of history isn't always easy, but she's always there. When the majority of the fellow residents have for decades been conditioned to believe a distorted account of history in order to justify the oppression of their people, their family, speaking out would be terrifying. And we know it is because just a year ago, I believe in the same room, in a forum like this, she was attacked with Islamophobic racist slurs. Despite that, she has never backed down. She is an incredibly courageous leader who unapologetically stands against oppression, not just for Palestinians, but for everyone. It's an incredible sigh of relief, knowing my township has representatives like her who will ensure goodness and humanity and stand above all else, and doing everything in her power to make sure our community is on the right side of history. The last thing I just want to add is the food pantry and help. I support the food pantry, and against the oppression and violations of humanity everywhere, that is intersectional. And just today, I watched videos of children in Palestine scraping flour off the ground, flour to bake bread, and sticking it in their pockets, hoping they have enough to feed their family. Food pantries and resources that we offer communities are what break down systems of oppression. Liberation for everyone. No one's liberated until everyone's liberated. And again, I said it last time at the Bolingbrook, traffic is inconvenient, but the cost is too high. Our children and our families need food, no matter what.
Are there anyone else wants to speak on the resolution from the public? If not, I'm going to ask Green. I'm sure you have a few words you would like to say about it.
I was going to say this at the end, but I'm just very grateful that we were on the board, were able to put this together. And I also want to specifically call out Aaron Marshke because he actually told me if I wanted to put forward the resolution, he would support it as long as we worked together on it and we agreed with the words. So we did work on this together. I want to thank everyone here that came to support the resolution as well. As you all know, I'm Palestinian, so this is very personal to me. And I just want to reiterate what other people said. It's important that local government gets involved. It's everyone's obligation to speak out against war crimes, against genocide, and it's very courageous of us to do this. And I hope it does encourage other local bodies to do the same.
Thank you. Would you like to have
I also was commend Trustee Townsend as well. This was, she said, this is personal. She has a family who grew up in Palestine, and we still, she has some extended family still live there. Yeah, and so it's personal to her. And she's correct. This is not something she cooked up or something that lives off somebody else's Xerox machine. This is something we worked on together. And we did this in concurrence, and we all heartily support this, which is why we're presenting tonight. So thank you.
Harry, would you like to say something?
I think a lot has been said already, and I would just agree with everything that's been said. Proud to be a part of the resolution, to be able to approve it.
Okay, thank you. Debbie, please.
I'm too proud to be part of the resolution and appreciate everyone coming out to share their perspectives on this, and Green and Gary Marshke for putting this forward.
Okay, thanks. The only comment I have is that, I think this has been said 1,000 times. The problems we have in the Middle East are not going to be solved militarily. is going to have to be solved politically and by negotiation and everything else. And the atrocities that we see in the Middle East right now are just, horrible. And we can't, as Reem knows, I'm a big supporter of Israel and their right to exist. I also believe in a two-state solution to that. But, the atrocities that have been committed are just horrible, and we can't tolerate this stuff. No matter if people are allies or that, if we're going to be the conscience of the world, we have to, be the conscience for everyone in the world, both our adversaries and our allies. Thank you. And if there's no more discussion, would you please call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Braxton.
Aye.
Trustee Ransom.
Aye.
Trustee Savage.
Aye.
Trustee Townsend. Aye. Supervisor Martin.
Aye. The resolution has passed. And,
So, outside of Chicago, this is the second government body that has passed the ceasefire resolution. The first one was Bolingbrook, and that took a lot of pressure, and by many, I think everyone in this room was part of that group that did pressure that board to amend their resolution, and now we're number 3, so this is huge, guys. Good job.
And also, we can send any elected official that we don't have to just keep to the list that we have. I'm going to open up now for public comments that people, I guess they didn't understand what I was saying about public comments. So if it would be Linda Ellis.
Yes.
So these public comments get a timer. Other public comments don't. So a meeting's act violation.
And local other neighborhoods around the world. I would just like to express again, I am not against feeding anyone. I'm not against the food pantry. I'm not against the wash station. I'm not against the shower station. Anything to help a human being is a wonderful thing to do. My opposition, as it always has been, is placement of these buildings, offering of the services and things. I just think in an already, once again, congested area, adding more congestion is not the answer. It's so lovely that we think of everyone but ourselves. I do agree with that up to a point, but I do feel like this is my home area that that DuPage Township wants to build something that I don't think will enhance our living there. I would just like to feel a little more recognized for my feelings. I think too, I've been meeting to here trying to express my simple comments about how I feel just a recently retired person and spending more time at home. I want to be able to feel comfortable, safe, and not saying that people are dangerous or whatever, but when you invite things into an area, you don't know what the response will be. So this is my concern. I do feel that these are wonderful things to be supported, and I do offer my support. I will offer to volunteer at the pantry, at some point in time. But again, location, location, location. Thank you very much.
Ken, I will say Jay.
My name is Ken Jasinski, and I'd like to address the board on the illegal immigration into this country. As a Vietnam vet, I'm very proud of my service. I'm very proud that this, because they're coming from every country in the world.
I'm sorry, one second. I don't think this is relevant to Township
because it's an issue that is probably affecting, almost every suburb in the city, so I don't know.
But I can hear what you.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'll start again. As a Vietnam vet, I'm very proud that so many people in this world want to come to the United States and live. They say mark of a good country is when you open the gates, do people rush out, people rush in. You hear all these football players, basketball players, and things, it's a lousy country to live in. Free X. This shows you that it's a great country to live in. Now, the thing I would like to suggest to the board is that, particularly people that voted for these open borders, is for you, people are dying to get here. I said talk about, last year that 120 people or 140 people died in the trailer because of the heat and the lack of air. And people are giving their lives. The problem is when they come here, they have to sleep on sidewalks, they have to sleep in parks, they have to sleep. Some get motels, yes, but a lot of them have to sleep everywhere they can sleep because the thing has been a total disaster. So what I would like to see the board do is talk to people that voted for these open borders and see if they get some people to take some of these people in. There's a lot of empty nesters. I see some empty nesters back and forth here. So I would like to see them think about this, helping these people out, take them into their homes, and show them what America is really like. And I challenge you guys to set this up. The board to set something up like this, to find other people in the township that will do this. Maybe we could get 100 people, maybe get 200 people. We have to think big. But to get people to take people into their homes, these people that are sleeping on sidewalks, sleeping in the police stations, sleeping all over the place, take them into your homes and welcome them and give them a good showing what America is really like. What it would do is we see a lot of these signs about hate that no home here and no human is illegal. Well, it's nice to put a sign out there like that, but that's not doing anything. This would give them a chance to really grab hold of this thing, and if they believe in that, the people that voted for open enrollment, open borders, give them a chance to really work on something. I think the board should take some leadership on this. Find some people that voted for these open borders and have them invite some of these illegals in. And by the way, if you go here, you can go here by word of mouth or in this.
Did he not hear that? No.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
By the way, the ceasefire resolution was not, pertinent to the township, but we went through that.
Fair. Bring it up.
Okay.
Well, we're going to open our homes to all the illegal immigrants, that means the food pantry here. So. On that note, my father-in-law.
I hear we have 2 public comments.
He didn't have to literally cross the river from Mexico to Texas. My son's standing here right now. And I think people aren't dying to get here, they're coming here because those people are dying. Please remember that any of the migrants who are refugees escaping violent means. And they're doing it for a chance to live. They're not coming here just to get for capitalism. Lord knows that's not working out for a while. I did want to say in terms of the food pantry though, I want to commend the supervisor's letter. I thought that was a very powerful letter, and I think it spoke truth to the situation, so thank you for that, in the letter. Upon leaving the last Boiler Board meeting that was about the food pantry, I thought a lot of conversations about traffic, a lot of conversations about accidents, and I think we're talking about the wrong thing. I think the point is that the food pantry, even that location, is non-negotiable. I think there's a lot we could be talking about how we mitigate things like traffic, and if you're concerned about crime, and I'm just not hearing those solutions. Like what systems, what protocols are we going to put in place so that the food pantry serve all the people that need to serve in our community, be accessible for walking capacity and biking capacity, the people who need it, but also be, I guess, not inconvenient for the people who live around it. And I just don't, I think there's like this falsifying theory that one or the other, you can have both. And it's just about us compromising, working together, thinking about what options we have to mitigate some of the challenges, but the underlying message should be, there's going to be a food pantry, it's going to be there because that's the best place to put it for the families that really need it. Thank you.
I just wanted to share a couple of words on food pantry. I think it kind of ties in David's sentiment of undocumented people, because nobody is legal, no one's alien either. I think one thing we kind of have to step back and